My husband, Roy Abel, was a senior at Auburn University when he contacted polio. When he first went over to Auburn, he wasn't even aware that it cost to go to college. He had no idea that it was going to cost him money to go to college. So when he went home, he asked his dad if he could borrow $100, and his dad said, "I don't have $100 to give you." So he sold his golf clubs to have enough money to go to college. During the time that he was there at Auburn, he had many jobs dressing windows for the local dress shop. His big business was taking laundry, picking up laundry for the students there. That's how he put himself through college. He was on the golf team at Auburn when he got polio. He had played 36 rounds of golf that day, and then he got very sick and went to see his doctor, and they put him in the hospital, and that's when he was paralyzed from his neck. To begin with, he couldn't even speak, but he did regain that. This didn't stop Roy. They put him, when they took him to the hospital and when they released him from the hospital, they pretty much wrote him off. They told him that he would never earn another dollar, that he would be the ward of the state, that he would never, if he ever married, he would need to marry a nurse. And he married, and I'm not a nurse, and he was given, just pretty much written off his life, that he would not ever do anything. So Roy said, "You're writing me off, so I'm writing you off." And that's when he started creating the business. To begin with, he went home and he stayed in a rocking bed, and a rehabilitation person came in and said, "What are you doing laying there in that bed?" So he said, "With a transcript the way you have, we're going to put you to work." And so they got him a printing press, and he started printing tallies for card tallies. But one thing led to another, and then he started the business of Snuffy Shanty, which was a hot dog business, and that business sold for $2.2 million right after he opened it. So this is a man in a wheelchair that was written off. He told him, "I'm writing you off," and so this is how he started out. Roy had many, many, many businesses. He was an entrepreneur at heart. He really didn't ever like running a business. He really didn't. He really preferred starting the businesses, being creative, and then letting them go, letting somebody else run them. He didn't like running. He did not like being in charge of employees to begin with. He'd rather just sit there and create a business. That's kind of how pie got created. We had a colonic machine installed in our house. This required taking him downstairs, undressing him, giving him a procedure, redressing him, putting him back in the chair, and taking him back upstairs. One afternoon, Roy said, "There's got to be a better way than this. I've got to come up with something better. This should be able to be done at bedside." That's when he created the pie cart. The pie cart was a cart that had a freshwater bag on the top and a wastewater bag on the bottom, and it actually had the pumping water into the colon. At the end of the procedure, the waste had to be emptied into the toilet because all of this was a closed system. That became difficult at times for different patients. Patients loved it. They all loved it, that it could be done, but Roy thought, "I've got to come up with something better than this." So his entrepreneurial mind started again, and his creativeness, and he created the pie trolley. It's a two-part which nests together for storage. Has a freshwater tank on one part, on one separate trolley, and a wastewater tank on the second trolley. The wastewater tank can be taken after the procedure into the bathroom, and it has a tilt where the tube can be put right into the toilet and emptied quite easily. So this made it a whole lot easier for our patients. and for them having their procedure, which could be done right at their bedside. This can be done in a hospital, at home, or wherever you may be that you can get water. You have to have fresh water to this tank. So many, many patients have been helped by this device because it can be taken to the bed.
I suffered a spinal cord injury 36 years ago, and I'm a quadriplegic. My family and I faced all sorts of medical challenges over the years. I was introduced to the PI medical system and the pulsed irrigation evacuation process more than 26 years ago. It changed my life, and I believe added longevity, and it surely improved my quality of life.
We've been using this system for a long time. Kevin was born in 1996 with a birth defect spina bifida. It literally means split spine, and it causes a whole plethora of issues. And one of them is a neurogenic bowel, which is very stressful and takes a long time to get figured out. For over 20 years we've been doing it, and it's been working wonderfully for us, and I hope you give it a try also.
We have quadriplegics. Actually, paraplegics can some of them can do the procedure on their own. They don't need a caregiver. They can do this by themselves. We have the spina bifida children that can, actually some of them can go on sleepovers or whatever now because they won't be having the accidents, the embarrassing accidents. We've got the neurogenic bowel. That's a big one because a lot of your spinal cord injuries can't have a normal bowel movement, so this is their way of being able to have a bowel movement and cleaning their colon so they don't have the accidents that they're prone to have. They don't know that they're having it, so it does become a problem for them when they're out in society or wherever. So this became very, very much good for them. The children are taught that it's not nice to potty in their pants. So what they do is they just stop going and they shut it down. Amazing how many do this and are taken to the emergency room because of a bowel impaction. A bowel impaction can actually cause death. I don't know if you know that or not, but it can. But these children were having to be taken to the hospital, and our procedure makes it quite easy to disimpact them. So our nurse was sent over to the Children's Hospital quite often to disimpact children. It's used to reduce megacolon. It's used to, there are just so many uses for this product. And it is self-contained. There is no odor there, and it makes it much easier for a caregiver in giving a procedure because it's contained. Once they're finished, they can take that wastewater tank right into the bathroom, empty it. Everything is all disposable. It is all put into a bag and disposed of at the end of the procedure.
I'm no longer reliant on laxatives. I no longer fear bowel obstructions. The PI system eliminated long waits on hard commode seats, which caused terrible skin breakdowns in the past. The gentle and efficient process has introduced a needed simplicity to my life. I enjoy my family, my pastimes, I enjoy life, and I have my medical to thank for that.